I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm alive. I'm dead. I'm dead again. I'm up.
Okay, let me take my copium and hopium oxygen mask off for this one for a second, because thing is, I think that we possibly might have reached a point where we simply just have to admit to ourselves, first and foremost, that we might never see The Wolf Among Us 2 ever. And I think it is time we just come to terms with it and accept it. And while this was a distant thought that I put in a box, locked it up, put it in the very back of my mind, and threw away the key, hoping Telltale will just prove me wrong at some point, that thought is becoming more and more of a reality as years go by, with radio silence on Telltale's part and information like this starting to surface little by little from people who were part of the development of The Wolf Among Us 2. I've gone over what exactly happened to Telltale and The Wolf Among Us 2 in this video, if you're interested in a more in-depth analysis of what exactly has gone down with both of them. But for now, let us get back to this new information. So basically, AdHoc Studio sat down with Eurogamer for an interview, and when asked about just what exactly is happening with The Wolf Among Us 2 and just where is it already, they basically said they too have absolutely no idea what is going on with the game, and they're the ones that literally wrote Season 2. So even if they don't even know what's going on, imagine how the rest of us feel just waiting for years on end for a game that literally nobody knows what's going on with it. Let's not forget that the game has been getting offed and then resurrected again for the better part of 6, well honestly 8 years now if we include the fact that the sequel was announced back in 2017, but then Telltale shut down in our count too. Out of those 6 or 8 years, depending on how you count them, AdHoc was working on the game for 2 of those. Telltale just doesn't seem to have learned anything from their previous mistakes though, and the entire thing and all the new information surfacing reeks of internal pandemonium and them having no idea how to manage their projects, time, and IPs once again. No offense to AdHoc, of course, as they're the ones that realized this too and decided to leave and actually make the game they had in mind, instead of just sitting there either working at a snail's pace or changing their minds about which direction the game should take every few days or something. AdHoc also admitted that they have already written Season 2, as in the entire thing is done. The scripts are all done. They said that they think Season 2 is even better than 1, and they wrote for both, so they definitely know what they're talking about. And besides, Season 2 was in fact incredible, and so was Dispatch, so I truly believe them, as they've shown me I can trust them, and thus literally just take their word for it on this one. So while the scripts were done, and they were starting to get into the nitty-gritty of it all, Telltale just said they needed more time for some reason. So obviously a newly created studio like AdHoc couldn't just sit around and wait. They literally could not afford to do that. So what they did instead was walk away, wish Telltale every success in their future endeavors, and get on with their own project instead. That project was the now massively successful and profitable game Dispatch, which achieved unprecedented numbers in its genre. And this only makes Telltale's fate feel even more heart-wrenching and sad to me, to be honest, as they're probably just sitting there wondering just what could have been right now. Though from the way AdHoc made it sound, I'm sure the poor employees over there feel just as bad and also stuck, while Telltale management is trying to just get their act together once again. They also mentioned that they're not even sure the studio has kept their original scripts and story in general, which I really hope they at least knew better than to do that, because not only would that mean even more of a delay, because everything would probably need to be rewritten from scratch if they were foolish enough to scrap the script, but also a massive gamble getting new writers who hadn't worked on the original game to write for a game whose plot characters, and atmosphere they had no hand in creating in the first place. The comics are great, of course, but the game has its own unique character and feel that was masterfully crafted by the original Telltale team that worked on it. And in my opinion, only they know how to capture that same magic again. However, there is some info online that claims that they've supposedly reworked the script many a times by now, which is another factor that has contributed to this massive delay and the game essentially being stuck in limbo. And while that would honestly check out at this point, I haven't seen such information come from a reliable source yet, so I'm opting for willful blindness and wishful thinking on this one. We already know that layoffs will have, of course, affected the game as well, as they have many other games in the industry in general. But the most crucial reason why this is taking so long is supposedly the fact that they decided to move from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. But as I said in my other The Wolf Among Us 2 video, that was only supposed to delay them until 2023 or even 2024 if we're being super generous here. And still, there's been radio silence on all fronts regarding this game in the year of our Lord 2025. So what exactly is happening? Where even is this game? Does the game even exist at this point? Or have they just scrapped everything and just don't know how to move forward from that now? Look, at this point, I'll take anything, to be honest. Even if they come out just to say, I don't know, hey guys, remember The Wolf Among Us 2? Yeah, well, it's over. The game is cancelled altogether, move on. I'd honestly even prefer that, because as things stand right now, this is just perpetual speculation and torture in limbo at this point, and I'm sure this entire thing is as exhausting and demotivating, if not more, for the team working on the game as well. For me, if nothing is shown during the Game Awards this year either, it will only solidify the fact that we might never see this game, period. It won't mean, oh, they probably just polishing the game, they're almost done, they have to, or I don't know, the game will probably be delayed, that's why they didn't want to showcase it this year either. It will probably mean this is done. Just, guys, put the fries in the bag, as they say, The hopium and copium can only get us so far, guys. And for me, I really feel like I've built up a tolerance for it, and it's really not working for me anymore, especially when such information is starting to surface little by little. I'm, of course, desperately hoping that by seeing Dispatch's massive success, the new Telltale will get their act together and seize this opportunity to ride the wave of this newfound popularity of this genre of games and come out and say, hey, these guys have also worked on our upcoming game and we have finally decided to release it in 2020 whatever at this point. I just hope they give us proof of life and a sign they've actually been working on something, anything that has to do with The Wolf Among Us 2 during all these years of silence, at least. But in general, with AdHoc's newfound success, I am so incredibly optimistic about this genre and its popularity in general, to be honest, as I know that us old Telltale fans, as well as all the new people that AdHoc has managed to hook, will be eating good with these guys at the helm. But I would be lying if I said that I don't want to also see Big B and the old gang back together again for yet another mystery to solve and see where their stories will take us to next. And despite their flaws and just failure to just manage everything, Telltale still deserves another chance, in my opinion, to prove that they can do this, to be honest. The licenses they own alone are a goldmine of so many potential future successes and incredible stories to be told, to be honest. And it would be such a shame to see Telltale shut down yet again and also see all those licenses getting shelved and just left to collect dust there. So fingers crossed for AdHoc success to finally jolt Telltale out of the radio silence and have them finally come forward and give us any semblance of information at this point, because the way things are right now, we're all just fumbling in the dark, wondering whether they'll finally shed some light our way at the moment. So whether the game is cancelled or still coming at whatever point in the future, we just need to know, as a radio silence is just not it. It's just so tiring and demotivating, and it's just weird, to be honest, as you have to eventually come out and say, yes, it's happening, or no, this is over, just give up. But in any case, even though I'm hopeful for their future and I really hope that we eventually get to play The Wolf Among Us 2, I'm also starting to, become a bit more realistic about the situation of the game. And like I said, if I don't see any new information or Telltale coming forward and showing something or telling us something at the Game Awards this year either, then I think that us not playing the game ever is becoming more and more of a reality, unfortunately.